it just went live. My little picture, I might as well bring my picture in. I am going to wait a minute. And then I'm going to give you guys my update on my, hey Leona, how are you? Welcome to the video. Just doing a little update for you guys on my journey into the CBD oils, the Change the Future outcome, which potentially is looking like it's literally doing that, and it's doing that for a lot of people. So, you know, yay, that's all I can say. I see some other people popping on, Brenda, I think Helen, Wally. Good morning, you guys. I'm facing the light, so I can kind of see, and I not so much really either, but anyways, if I apologize if I don't acknowledge you, but when I get talking, I try not to lose my thought, because I don't want to take up all your time, and then just give you guys some information and an update. So, what I have learned and what I have found that I need to do is change some of the way that I've been speaking to you guys, because from a compliance issue, the company has actually, so as not to get anybody in trouble, so as not to affect anyone's business, so as not to say something we're not, you know, we can't say in terms of medical language, medical wording and stuff like that. We have to actually change the way that we're speaking and or giving testimonials. And there's that beautiful little kitty that visits my window. Anyways, it always shows up when I'm doing videos. I never see that cat otherwise. So funny. Anyway, so what I've learned, and it really frustrates me a little bit, because well, first of all, we are not allowed to use words that are clinical. So, for example, in the testimonial or when we're speaking, and maybe different live, but I don't want to cross any of the boundaries that could affect my business or anybody else's or somebody's ability to access these products. So, for example, I've learned we cannot say we have depression, because depression is the clinical word. We can't say we have diabetes. We can't say we have fibromyalgia, because those are the clinical words. And this is the government's a guideline, so it's a compliance issue with the company. So what you can say, and what I'm allowed to say, not to get anybody in trouble, is to say, for example, I struggle with my with feeling well and with my moods, and I have very low moods. I can say that. I can't say I have depression. I can say, for example, I struggle keeping my blood sugars balanced, versus saying I have diabetes, because what we cannot say is diabetes is can be treated with CBD oils or cure CBD, anything like that, which I don't use those words, treat or cure anyways, at least I'm pretty sure I don't. And so, but what they've asked us to do to stay in compliance, and so there's no issue with the products and with them being shipped to people and the government not getting in trouble for anything, is we actually can't use clinical terms. So, fibromyalgia, I can say I have body ache everywhere, and the CBD oils are assisting me in minimizing that body ache. I can say that. I can say that I have, you know, struggle with moods and feeling, you know, kind of a lower mood. I don't feel really well emotionally. And the CBD oils are helping lift my mood, helping lift my emotional body. And that one for Diane is just a pure fact. And I know for those of you that have been watching my videos, a lot of you will, you know, not really know that I had any issue with those things, with my moods. And what was happening as my pain was getting worse, my sleep was getting worse, I end up on, you know, you're on a roller coaster of trying to feel well emotionally, mentally, while you never feel well physically. And really, if you think about that, it's no wonder it's a struggle, because it's really hard to keep all of that balanced when you're feeling, you know, you can't sleep because everything hurts. Your legs hurt, your arms hurt, your feet hurt when they hit the floor in the morning, you know. And I've always, when I started actually getting pain, that that much pain in my body, where it was literally, first of all, it was usually always my back, and I had the fractures and, you know, the back surgery, stuff like that. My health started changing, and when I did go through some of the health issues in the mid 2007, 2009 is when I was diagnosed with my cancers. And so when you look at the fact that this is 2018, you know, I'm amazed that, you know, I'm here, that I'm reasonably healthy. I actually have my mind. That would be the saddest part for me, is to, you know, be struggling with an issue where you actually have memory issues and stuff like that. My memory was getting affected because my pain was overriding so much of my day. So what I was finding is I wasn't really keeping up with a lot of things in my life, because pain management became my life. And so, and because my nature is to try to, you know, kind of just go out into the world and have that smile on my face. And I didn't go out in the world to complain. I'm pretty good at that, actually. And so a lot of people just simply didn't know that I didn't feel well. And in truth, I didn't feel well at all. And I can tell you, so I think I'm in about my 7th week with these particular products, which is Change the Future Outcome. And, you know, I would love to say that I don't ever have any pain left in my body or not, and that's not true at all. But what's happening is it's minimizing. My brain feels like it's returning. I am not feeling at all like my brain, my lower mood, my struggling with feeling well every day, because even if I get up and I find my pain gets worse from when I go to bed and when I get up, that's almost the worst time for me. So by the time I wake up in the morning, you know, I'm in quite a bit of pain, and I get up, I take my oils, I do my drops, you know, I take my vitamins and stuff like that, because I'm very big on putting, you know, really high quality wellness products into my body versus drugs, opioids, prescriptions, and things like that. And, you know, we have a drug epidemic in probably in the world, but because we're so pharmaceutically driven in North America, Canada, and the US. Canada, we like to think in a lot of ways we're not really like the US, and in actuality we are very much like them. We're what I kind of call, we're sheeple in a lot of ways. So rather than going and looking at alternatives that are going on in other parts of the world, when you look over in Eastern and European countries where they blend wellness with pharmaceuticals. So if you go even through cancer over there, they're starting to do this in the US, like, don't get me wrong, but it's normal over there that you would go on an immune boosting things while you're actually doing something like chemo, which is annihilating your immune system while you're going through it. And then what happens, unfortunately, and through my cancer journey, I learned a lot that a lot of people, we lose a lot of people on secondary cancers because they now don't have an immune system to fight the secondary one or fight the second diagnosis. I went through both of them. It's been 11 years for me. It's literally probably this week, because I think it was the first week of April in 2007 when I actually had my first surgery. So 11 years later, you know, I'm hats off to me for that, but I had to make some tough choices not to fall down the pharmaceutical rabbit hole. So what I can say is I have to reword some of what I'm saying, but I'm telling you nothing's different in the sense that day by day by day, I'm feeling better. And because it's affecting that mood, and it's lifting that mood, and it's really helping that state, that for me, anyone that is actually struggling with not feeling well emotionally, that is struggling through, it could be through pain, it just could be through life. I mean, pain isn't the only reason people suffer from depression. It's just a factor in pain, and it just makes logical sense that when you are feeling that low in time, or that your body hurts that much, and you have that, you know, joint pain, muscle pain, back pain. And the thing that I love about CBD oils, and it doesn't matter even what CBD oils, it's just that I've learned that you're kind of not really spending money very well if you're taking low grade, poor quality, heat extracted CBD oils is why the people are probably frustrated, is because they're really not getting a good enough quality oil. And when you use low quality CBD oils and they are extracting with heat and they're using a solvent to do it, it only makes sense that your results are going to reflect that versus a high quality organic high grade CO2 extracted oil, which you guys have taught me, which actually maintains those properties. Our oils have what they call the whole plant. We have the capsules have isolate in them, which is it's the more isolated oil, which actually takes out some of the phytonutrients, but you're getting the CBD oils. And CBD brings down inflammation, and inflammation is pain in the end. When they used to test my blood for the inflammation marker, and my inflammation was always really, really high, I'm actually going to wait about another month or 2 months, and then I'm going to go get my inflammation tested again, and I'm going to look at the last time I had that and then the new ones and just see how much, because my doctor was so frustrated that no matter what we did, diet, all sorts of stuff that we would be doing, taking anything inflammatory out of your diet, your body, etc. like that. So I'm interested to see how my inflammation, because I absolutely confidently expect that inflammation in my body is going to be dropping, because the oils, I kind of look at them like I kind of define them like WD-40. Hey, Stephanie and Todd, I see you guys jumped on. So I kind of see them like when you take those oils, it kind of goes in and lubricates those joints and stuff like that, which starts to take down the inflammation. And when your inflammation drops, your pain will coincidingly start to get better. And for me, it's absolutely happening. I've been going through this journey, and I talked about this the other day, that they found those fractures in my back in 1988. Well, 2018 means it's been 30 years that I've been struggling. I remember in the 90s, in the early 90s, I had someone in my life, and I used to get him to literally pound on my back, and he would always say, I don't want to do this, Diane, and I'd say, you have to, because it was the only thing. If he didn't literally get in there and or use his elbows to push out some of that muscle soreness and sting like that, I wasn't getting relief. I remember my brother Dougie one time, I was like, can you pound on my back? He's like, what? And I'm like, no, Doug, I need it, I can't get it. And so people, I had massage therapists that would say, God, your muscles are so tense and tight all the time. And it was because I'm always compensating for pain. And what happens to pain over time, it just actually starts to move out. So you have localized pain, you get really bad inflammation, then the pain's taking up more of your lower back. And then next thing you know, it's going into your hips. Then next thing you know, it's combing up your spine. And then because you're always hurting and pain, you start sitting differently. You start standing differently. Next, it's in your shoulders, it's in your neck. And it's a discouraging path, especially when you're somebody who's always trying things. And, people that know me really well know, I have spent, you can't even imagine the amount of money I have spent on trying different things. And I don't just try supplements and things that I put in my body. I'm talking about going to acupuncture, going for massage, going for a physio, going to Reiki practitioners, going for body talk sessions, going for, access bars. I mean, I am like a practitioner's dream in some way, because I'm always doing something to try to help myself feel better. So my update is I continue to feel better, but I'm telling you, don't suffer if you're not feeling well. Give these a try, and I've left the links up there for you guys. Everybody just comes into this company, gets a free account. You go into your own account, you order when you want to order. You're not required to order monthly. They don't even ask you for a credit card when you enroll unless you are taking an order simultaneously. You get to look inside. You can see the updates for the company when they do their independent testing to see the quality of the oil. They're meeting the minimum standard that they require to be manufactured in a good manufacturing facility. And what that basically says is that what we're saying is in here, The quality of the oil is organic. The products that are in here are organic. The percentage of CBD that would be, say, in this jar or this spray has to be met, minimum, so they have to meet the minimum expectations, and a solid good company will exceed those expectations of the manufacturing process, but you know at minimum you're getting what you say you're getting. And so you're allowed to, that just gives you the knowledge to know that what you're putting in your body is actually what you're getting. So when we go to the drugstore, when we go to places like that, we really don't for sure know. And the other thing, if somebody promotes their product as natural, that's saying they may be close to organic, but they haven't taken the time to actually go stamp themselves as an organic hemp farm, for example. And our oil and our comes out of or an organic farm, then it goes in through the manufacturing facility, so they're meeting all of that. And the only thing I can think is that when I spent a year and a half trying other CBD and THC based products, because the other journey about trying all those other things over the years, that's not talking about trying CBD, because when I finally got given medical cannabis, you know, you guys know I went through a lot. And the other day I said I went to 3 dispensaries. I actually meant I've been to 3 different cities between ordering online, going to dispensaries in Regina and Saskatoon, and then trying things and getting discouraged because I wasn't feeling better. And I wasn't even hardly able to get up and work. And that just was piling up on my stress because I'm a single woman. So I take care of my own needs in that regard. I don't share them with anyone. And so by Christmas, I was like, what am I going to do? I can barely work. I don't have somebody to help me through this journey. And so I was praying and praying, God, get me something, because I'm trying so much. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Todd. Absolutely. And Todd is a gentleman whose success system I've been working when my business is exploding, and I'm not even really doing anything other than we ran a small ad. And I can tell you that if you are looking for that aspect, if you want something that potentially can be a business for you, and you know, if you're passionate about something, that's what you should go do. I don't care what it is. I don't care what industry it's in. I don't care what it is. Where you will find the greatest joy and how you go earn your money is when you're passionate. And I'm passionate about feeling well, and I'm also passionate about helping people. And so, you know, I'm finally able to really wrap my head around. I really only just finally went in and started looking at the compensation this company provides, because I'm feeling well enough to do that. You know, I look at my clock right now and it's 10:35, and I've been up. I've gotten, I don't know, I think I've gotten 15 or 20 some odd new leads that went into my business. That this little thing just keeps popping up and telling me more are coming. And I've done all that today. I've sent out emails. I've welcomed people. I've congratulated them. And 10:35, 7 weeks ago, I hadn't even gotten off my couch yet. And I used to get to it around 10 o'clock in the morning because I never slept at night. I would be exhausted. I slept in the morning. My best sleep started coming from, I don't know, I probably started sleeping at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I might sleep till around 9:30. I'd get up at 10 o'clock. You know, I've been telling you guys that routine. It's changing for me, and what's changing is my excitement to get out of bed, even though I'm not necessarily not feeling any pain, because I do wake up with pain. And I'm probably guessing it's a combination of having your body, you know, it's when you have inflammation and you don't move around, because it's blood flow that kind of helps keep the inflammation now. I'm also going to start taking, I have on order the capsules, which, you know, are secondary to me than ever putting drops under your tongue, because when you use the drops, the sublingual method, it goes straight into your bloodstream. But the capsules are isolates. So I bought the capsules. I'm expecting them to show up any day, so I'll be able to give you guys some feedback on those. But I'm going to take those at night, you know, maybe mid-evening, so that by the time they've gone into your digestive system and stuff like that. And I'm going to try the isolates at night, because that's maybe where I'll get a bit extra, because it's kind of like you're getting more of the actual CBD versus the other nutrients, but it's the CBD that has so much of the anti-inflammatory properties and stuff, and I see some other people. I think I saw Nicole and Prashant. I see your name, so welcome to this video. So what I do want to say, there's one other thing that I actually absolutely have to say, and I might even do a little video on this. Everybody's asking about the if you take the CBD oils, and about drug testing and stuff like that, and this is where it gets really absurd. First of all, the company is absolutely, you cannot say this even with these CBD oils, because that you would end up negative in a drug test, because what I've learned, because especially now that my brain's coming alive, so I can do more of this during the day, and actually, because first of all, I just was inundated. I just dived so straight in and learning about the CBD oils, and then my specific things. Now, because people are reaching out, I've started a YouTube channel. That YouTube channel, you can go on there, go to playlists, and it'll say CBD oils and diabetes, CBD oils and PTSD, CBD oils and depression. And so you can go watch some of those videos. I pick ones where doctors, medical people, scientists and stuff are talking mostly, and then the odd time somebody's testimonial, because that will help you get that information that's specific. There's lots of CBD oils in the market now. You just Google CBD oils and you'll find all sorts of them. I have to keep lifting this up because the freaking leads are just coming in crazy, which is really good for anyone that's interested in the business. We have a whole automated system that's being built out, and that excites me, and I've been working in automated systems for the last 2 years online, so I know the power of them, and it really does let us not have to go inside our warm market to build an income and build our business. It's just that when you care about people, you tend to start caring about the ones first, and you want to help people so but what the drug testing part, so we've absolutely been told we cannot say it will or will not, because what I've now understand is that what percentage they go look for, in terms of what they're drug testing for, it really depends on the company. It depends on how far down they're going to go in terms of looking for a THC. A THC to be in this product that we're putting in our, taking the oils or anything, that qualifies in the supplement category, which is where these ones are, which is why we can get them sent to our door, don't need to go to the doctor, don't need a prescription and all of that, has to be under 0.03% of THC. Cannabis, even back in the old days, THC in the average plant, and in order for THC to actually activate in our body and give us the high, which you do not get from CBD oils, so this is where the government has to step up and start doing the right thing and not going after people that are taking THC or CBD oils, with especially ones that qualify in the supplement category, because as you guys have heard me say, it is completely different. If you go to a medical dispensary and you get a CBD oil, you can get a 10 to 10 ratio of CBD oil to THC. I'm not speaking about that CBDs, I'm talking about these ones, but nonetheless, how far they look for that THC is going to determine the results in that testing. 0.03% is equivalent to me in an analogy like drinking a non-alcoholic beer and then getting picked up for drinking beer. If I can't have a non-alcoholic beer and I can get in trouble for having that non-alcoholic beer, it would be like, instead of them looking at the 0.08 as far as drinking and that alcohol being in your blood test, and them drilling down to 0.05% to look for the alcohol. I mean, good God, give us something to work with so people can start to take the CBD oils and not worry. There's no high. So how can you even remotely say you can't have CBD oils and be at work? CBD oils are giving people their life back. They're getting people off opioids. They're balancing the blood sugars. They're minimizing the low mood, helping you get back and elevate back to your a healthier mental state without having to take a drug. And what really frustrated me was yesterday I was sitting on my couch a commercial came on, and the commercial was about an antidepressant. Actually, it was about adding a second pharmaceutical into your antidepressant to try to boost your results. Well, I call my boost my results. I take my drops, I use my spray. This is boosting my results. So this spray, for example, is the sleep one, so I don't want to take that right now. So, for example, if I was using the anti-stress one. So if you have anxiety, you would spray this into your mouth, drop a couple drops of the oil in. That's boosting the results towards the depression, the the mood. I have to be careful what I say now. And that's my way of boosting my product versus taking an antidepressant that now I have to go take some other thing called Reverix or something that it was called to try to make my antidepressant work better. And the side effect part of that commercial, like they just went on, and it was like suicidal thoughts and, you know, all of this stuff. And I'm like, we're getting people off that. And then the government or a company wants to say, no, you can't even have a product that has 0.03% THC in it, when the plant that you would smoke to get high, and you have to heat THC to get high off of it anyways, like that's where it goes through a process of heat to get the THC to actually activate so you get high off of it. A plant start at 5%, and that's the good old-fashioned old marijuana. That's not today's marijuana. Today's marijuana, you can get THC, 20% THC. So yes, of course, that person is going to test for THC. They're taking a high dosage of THC. But if you're going to 0.03%, like I'm going to advocate for this, especially now that I'm feeling better. I'm really going to look into how to help people through this, because it's ridiculous to have a 0.03% of something in your body and saying, oh, you drug tested for THC. Like, give us a break, regulate this industry properly. The government is just, so much of it is a money grab. Pharmaceuticals industries are a money grab. I'm probably elevating my voice while I'm even talking about it because I'm so frustrated with it. You know, there are so many people. First of all, CBD, THC, CBD combination, but CBD oils, anything to do with the cannabis plant is fabulous at, affecting a cancer cell. It basically affects the cancer cell growing and going rogue in your bodies. So CBD oils would be a preventative way to even keep cancer at bay, because it doesn't allow the cancer cell to grow in your body. And there's science and research. You got to go around, and anybody that gets diagnosed with something that serious, I mean, if you're not doing your own research, you just have to accept the consequences of just allowing one doctor to tell you one thing. You guys know my story if you've been watching, you know, about a doctor that wanted me to do so much chemo and radiation. I had like early stage cancer in my breast, and I was like, how am I supposed to live through that? Like, that scared the shit out of me way more than the route I took by going on high-grade nutritionals, boosting my immune system. And 11 years later, I'm alive to tell this story. So I'm kind of like, I'm sticking to my story. So, and I'm not telling people not to do chemo. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is, if you have one person tell you one thing and you fall down the rabbit hole with them and you don't do the research, I really feel for elderly people that don't have somebody to advocate for them and be on their side. But what I'm saying, and even like I said, over in other countries around the world, it's part of the regiment. If you're going to go take chemo radiation, that at the same time, you would then also boost something. They use CBD oils in their medical systems over there to help balance out what you're doing when you affect your body by putting something so toxic into it as chemo and radiation. And so what you guys, if you know a little bit about my story, was, you know, I went and I took minimal radiation the second time, and they wanted to do a lot more of it. And I said, no, I'll give you guys, I think I went for 21 treatments or 15 treatments over 21 days or something like that, maybe is what it was. But they wanted me to keep going, and I was like, no. I then later in life, like a year or 2 years later, I got diagnosed with radiation fibrosis, and the radiation fibrosis was because I was over-radiated. like, I wanted to choke the people that wanted me to even do more radiation. Like that oncologist that told me when he looked that day and he said, he was so sad. He said, your problem now isn't the cancer. The problem is the radiation fibrosis. So I come home, I drive home from Medicine Hat. I'm in tears most of the way because I'm thinking, I fucking fought so hard. And they still screwed up. And so then I went and I did the things that I could possibly do to minimize the effect of the radiation fibrosis. I can tell you, when I went back for my second appointment with him, he came in like a kid in the candy store. He sat down and he kept tapping me on my knees. He kept saying, I'm so happy, I'm so happy. I never get to give good news, and I'm not even sure why, but you don't have a lot of damage from the radiation fibrosis. This is really unusual. Like, he was so happy. He said, I'm an oncologist. I don't get to give good news. He wrote my doctor and told my doctor, he sent him a letter of how happy he was and whatever I had done, that it worked very well for me to make the choices that I had. Because I believe what happened is, after I had the radiation, I went into such a strong regimen of reboosting my immune system, I minimized again the damage that had actually obviously was causing me. It did explain to me why my recovery was a lot longer than they expected it to be. And I remember going to the doctor at the 3-month mark. I hadn't been sleeping. It was a horrible experience. And they said to me, well, you're only, they told me I would feel quite, by 3 months, you're going to feel way better and this and that. And I was like, I don't feel better at all. I'm exhausted. That was my story. I told you I couldn't stuff a pillow in the pillowcase. I was so tired. I couldn't even put a pillow in a pillowcase. And they said, well, it's only been 3 months. And I said, well, yeah, but you guys told me I would feel better at 3 months. And they said, oh, no, we just told you that because you probably wouldn't have done the treatments if we would have told you, basically, more or less, without being verbatim, the truth. I was like, what are you talking about? And they said, well, if we told you that you could potentially be off work for a year and that you were not going to feel very good for quite a long period of time from the radiation, you probably wouldn't have done the radiation. Excuse me, if you know me, you can imagine how upset I was about that. Because first of all, I'm at my 3-month mark and I think I'm failing miserably. Instead of them saying, well, expect that potentially, this could be you are going under this massive $1 million machine. We're going to beam radiation into you, burn, the 3rd degree burn to my entire left side of my breast and everything like that, and say that the recovery for this could be, there we go. The recovery could be really amazing. Shoot. Really long, a lot longer than I had expected. And again, I just felt, this is really beautiful, but at the same time, I felt misled. I felt so misled, and I was like, you guys have to give us proper info. And I had done so much research, so I was making a pretty educated decision. But what that oncologist said, it wasn't the amount of radiation, it wasn't that you went for the 15 treatments. It was that they over-radiated you. And I remember that lady, when I went in on the 3rd day, she said, oh my God, she's really red already. This is a little bit early. I'm going for 50, because I went for 5 treatments, 5 days in a row for 3 weeks, plus weekends, so that's probably where the 21 comes from. And I remember thinking, well, what does that mean, And they were telling me, I said, oh no, don't worry about it. Well, you know what? Excuse my language, but turn down the fucking dial. You guys do this for a living. You can see how burnt I'm already getting, and I'm only on day 3. Well, you can imagine what it was like by day 21, when I finished that treatment. I remember coming to Swift-Current, and that's when I came to visit the man that I was dating, and I came here, and he wanted me to go out, and I was like, I could barely lift myself off the couch. And then it was like, okay, you understand, because I was always so optimistic and kind of energetic in my who I am, but I remember him saying, you never complain, Diane. And I was like, the only people I'm ever going to complain to are ones that call me stupid for not doing chemo, for example, the doctors. Getting told good luck with that when I tell them I'm making a choice not to follow down the pharmaceutical road. I remember when I had my back surgery, they handed me 8 pills. And I remember going, what am I supposed to do with all of these? And they said, well, you can take all of these. I was like, at the same time? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, what is this? Well, this is the Percocet or whatever it was. This is for sleeping. This is for the morphine. I was going to take I was like, well, I don't want all of those. They said, well, which one? I said, take this away, take this away, take this away. I think I took 3 or 4 of them. I mean, it was my first day. They had just split into my back. I had staples this big across my back, you know, but I was like, how do I come out of it? I don't know if I'll wake up if I take all 8 of these at the same time. Right? And so again, it was like, well, that's what you're allowed. So if you want them, they'll be at the dispensary here for you. Just call for us if you want more. Like, I was offended that they were gonna, you know, just like, how do you not end up getting hooked? You know, that's the part. That's why we have an opioid and prescription epidemic. You know, people have to start being accountable for their health. And I might sound like I'm preaching right now, and I'm sorry if I am. You know, you guys can say something. You know, there are a way you can put in notes in here. And it helps me to know that I'm giving you any valid or good information that's going to help you in some way. But if you know people that are suffering from struggling with having their blood sugars balanced, headaches, you know, CBD oils is fantastic for migraines, regulating your blood sugars, Alzheimer's. You know, there's people, I was watching a video where a doctor was talking about they have people that are leaving care homes and going back home because their mind function becomes well enough again for them to become independent enough to return back home. I don't know how a person can't pay attention to that. I don't know how a person can't say, I need to look more at this. I'm just saying, if you're going to get them, get high quality ones. If you get them from CTFO, I welcome them for you to get them through my store, or anybody that's recommended this particular company to you, CTFO, ask them for the link. The account is free. It's like joining Amazon or Groupon or anything like that. You just get an account, you order when you want, what you want, on your own time, in your own thing. There's no requirement. You're not required to order monthly or anything like that, which is also a lot of traditional stuff in the industry of direct marketing and consumer marketing. So just be cognizant about, you know, if you're struggling with something and if you feel you need to go talk to your doctor, go talk to your doctor. But I'm telling you, I'm very accountable in my own health. And when I have a doctor say to me, well, I don't know anything about those, so I don't recommend them, I have a little bit of a problem with that. How about you go learn something about them and then decide you don't recommend them? My doctor, at least when I first went to him, said, Diane, I don't have enough information to weigh in on that for you. That was my good doctor that left the city last summer, which really is too bad. But, you know, that's what he said. I can't really weigh in on them. And then he didn't really want to. Then he started looking into it a year later. When I went back to him, he's like, you know what? I understand. I also told him, you know, you guys know my story. I'm very familiar with, you know, the THC. Frankly, that doesn't even remotely scare me. But you guys want me to take morphine, Percocet, you know, all that other shit. That scares me. Not only scares me, it scares the shit out of me. And I managed to get this age in life without a drug addiction, frankly. And I could have had one very early in life if you really know my story. And I'm like, I am not going down that rabbit hole, because I have managed to go all this time without one. And somebody's just coming out to my door with my package, which means my CBD oils are here. I'm very, very confident that's what he's going to bring across here. I hope I don't have to sign for them, because if I do, either way, I'll jump off the video. It's been long enough. Thank you. Hey, Terry, I saw you and I saw Lori's name pop up. So do I wonder if I have to sign for those? Yeah, she rang my doorbell. I have to sign for them. Anyways, God bless you guys. Talk to you later.